Hey, this is Tami Jaffe with Tami Jaffe Coaching. And if you're really ready to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine, today's podcast with my good friend, Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson. We're at episode 328. And if you're looking to make the leap from being an employee to an entrepreneur, you need to be listening to this podcast interview with my good friend Tami Jaffe, fantastic coach. She did the deed in the corporate world for 27 years. And so she didn't really know how. She got her ass in gear and started making that transition into the entrepreneurial world. And that's exactly what Tami will help you to do. You know, a lot of people work their 9 to 5 to live, but that 5 to 9 is where you become alive, and that's where Tami will get you. So without further ado, break out your digital note taker or a pen and pad, because Tami is going to drop some serious knowledge nuggets on you, especially if you're looking to make that leap. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, Coach Tami Jaffe. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I love talking to coaches, especially transitional coaches, which I've said on other podcasts, that I started this podcast with kind of a selfish endeavor where I just wanted to pick the brains of other coaches to help level up my Time to Shine Today coaching business. And I get to take full effect on that with my good friend here, Tami. And she is a career transition and business success coach, energy shifter, and speaker who inspires successful professionals who are dreaming to resign and do something new. Tami helps guide her clients through the sometimes overwhelming prospect of changing careers or starting a new business. And Tami, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Oh, my favorite color. So I've always said my favorite color is red.
Okay.
And why is a great question. I don't know that I've ever gone into why. Right. So I've always just been attracted to red. Like I love the power color of red and showing up in things that are so.
I love it. It's in your color wheel. You know, if you're watching on YouTube or Vimeo, Squash, she's absolutely a stunning woman, but she's very professional. And I thought you were going to go with teal or something like that, because I'm seeing your shirt. I see the ocean kind of in the back. I just thought.
It is like my second favorite, but like my lifetime favorite is red.
Love it. I love it. So Tami, let's get to the roots of your story. I'm curious to know, were you someone that was corporate and transitioned, or like, I'd really love to hear the backstory.
Yeah. So I am a recovering CPA. I started off in accounting and worked my way up through corporate. I made a few career transitions along the way, did a few different things, but ended my corporate career after 20 some years as the head of real estate technology for the third largest real estate company in the world.
Wow. May I ask which one it is?
TIA Nuveen.
Okay. Wow.
So I spent my last 10 years in corporate with them and in the finance area, and then in technology, my last 4 years there, and just realized I got to a point that realized I wanted to do more. The further up I got in corporate, the more I disliked some of the politics and who they wanted to mold you into someone that they wanted you to be. Wasn't exactly the person that my integrity wanted me to be. And so I decided that there's something more for me out there, and started getting involved with coaching as well as energy healing, and realized that, I had always called myself a mentor manager. When people ask me what my management style was, I'm like, I'm a mentor manager. I'm going to help you grow. I'm going to help you expand. I'm going to see what we can do to get you to grow in your careers. And it was just that realization that that's what I wanted to help people do. And so I stepped out into the coaching world and started that career.
Did you ever feel like a lot of times you're giving kind of like quote unquote like free advice to people and saying, man, there's something here that I'm a valuable resource for people that I can get paid for it? Is that maybe what you were saying anyways?
In some ways, yes. I mean, I had a passion for leadership and helping people grow. And so there's times where you look at it and you're like, okay, could I get, I got paid for my corporate job, but could I get paid in another way to
Yeah.
do more of the things that I was really excited about
Well,
and less of the things that were just the monotonous day to day?
I love it. And it's like a mentor manager. I love that saying because like my mentor told me, or one of my mentors said, the more you mentor, the more immortal you become. Like the more
Mm,
you say something, people remember you and they pay it forward. I
yeah.
love that. I love that. So when you're coaching, I do a lot of more group or one-on-one right now.
I do mostly group. I have a
Okay.
few one-on-one clients that are fairly large clients that I work with. And then I have a couple group programs that I
Beautiful.
help people in getting their businesses started.
Beautiful. So when you're in that kind of discovery period with them, we'll say maybe a one-on-one client
Mhm.
or even the head of like getting the group client started, like, is there any secret sauce that you employ, if you don't mind sharing, to help them find that initial blind spot to start leveling them up?
Oh, such a great question. I love this. So, I think there's one thing I always say everything starts with clarity, right? And asking the right questions. So many times people come in and they're like, I'm stuck. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know where to go. I don't know what business to start. And so, I'm always looking at where are the missing pieces? What are those missing puzzle pieces that they have? Where are they not asking the right questions? And diving deeper into what it is they really want and desire so that we
Yeah.
can get them focused in the right area and not just jump into something because it's trendy or that's what someone else told them they should do.
Mm,
But we want to make sure they're aligned with what's going to like light them up going
love
forward.
that.
Yeah.
Love it. And are you more of a coach or a consultant? Are you kind of a coach consultant?
I'm a coach called coach. I like the way you say I can't even say it, but
Coach
I'm a coach
consultant.
and
I
consultant. I
figured
do
you
both.
were, and the only reason why I say this is like me. So, like I coach CEOs of companies, and they've forgot more about business than I ever will. Their business and a lot of
Hmm.
business because I've been a real estate broker for 23 years. So if I'm coaching, a high end agent or something, I can talk to them about the business and consult a little bit. But coaching, I love how you go back to starts with clarity and really digging for that blind spot. And, as a coach myself, I ask questions. I really don't consult too much unless it parlays over. But with you, it's unique because of the 27 years that you were doing the corporate world. You can kind of resonate with what a lot of the corporate people do, or I can't. That's a
Yeah.
gift for you. I love that. So, Tami, when you start working with somebody and you're kind of in that discovery period, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
This is one I hadn't thought of before. So this is a good question. Let me think. So, question that I wish they would ask me. I think there's just looking at what they need to be focused on, right? Like, I think the question that I would like to hear from them is how are how are you going to align in helping me with my desires, right?
Yes. Yeah. And I love that you say that. And there's so much more that can be unpacked with that, but due to time constraints. But it's like how are you qualify if you're starting? What's your lineage, Tami? Like that's what I ask every coach. I have 5 coaches, and I know their lineage. I'm a big football guy. Watch football, and you know how head coaches come from different head coaches, their lineage. Like I
Hmm.
with coaching as well. I like to know who they came through, what they've learned, why their philosophies are. I love. Didn't mean ask that question to trip you up, but it does make you think in your next
Yeah.
interview. So when do you ever coach companies? Like the companies bring you, okay, awesome. I want to go here
Yes.
with you with this.
Okay.
So you get the CEO or the human resource, someone's like, hey, Tami Jaffe coaching, we need her, right? Because say sales is lacking or whatnot. When you're brought in and that sales manager's in the room, how do you diffuse that situation if you don't mind sharing? Because they're coming in going, what the F, man? I got to deal with this lady. You know what I'm saying? Because the CEO and the higher ups are like, yeah, we need to level this up. You
Yeah.
know, they bring you in and they're looking at how do you diffuse that situation?
Yeah, great question. So I think one of the things that I'm always looking at is building that relationship with them first, right? They're not going to open up to you. They're not going to share what they want to do or what's going right and what's not going right unless you can connect with them. So coming in and finding that connection, understanding who they are, getting to know them
Mm,
and what it is they want to create, right? I mean, everyone in every area, no matter who you're talking to,
right,
there's things that they're not happy with. There's things they want to change.
right,
And just because it's coming from upper management saying you need to make this change or you need to, this is being pushed down on you, doesn't mean they don't have desires as well.
right,
And so, really getting to know them, getting to understand them, and asking them, I know this wasn't, I'll be upfront with them. Like, I know this
right,
wasn't your idea,
right,
right? So, this may feel like an uncomfortable conversation to you, but I don't want it to be. And so I
right.
want to know from your standpoint,
Mm,
when we are done with this, what do you want to see as the outcome?
right.
If you could change anything that's happening, what would it be?
I love that you get your asking gear. You're asking, right, consistently, but you're keeping them involved in subconsciously, in a sense, asking for help from them. It's like if you go to them and say, "Well, I really need your help," they're like, "Yeah, yeah, that's cliche." But what you just said resonated so much, and I actually just picked up a really great step for a company that I'm have to go in with. Thank you so much for sharing that, Tam. You're an open book. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you something, Tammy. Have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
I have. It's been a
Okay,
while, but yes,
it has. Can you believe it's going to be like 40 years in 2025? It'll be
I
40 years
know
old.
we're aging
Crazy.
ourselves.
Yes, yes. So it's getting that DeLorean with Marty McFly, right? Let's go back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Tammy. And I don't know if it's Jaffe yet. Let's go back to 22-year-old Tammy. And you haven't met Glenn yet or whatnot. You're just kind of getting into the world. What kind of knowledge nuggets would you drop on her to maybe help her not change anything because your life's freaking great, but that maybe help her level up, blast through, shorten that learning curve just a little bit more?
Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing is for me, because I'm an analytical type person and I like to sit and think on things.
Sure.
So it would be, go with your gut, make the decision and move forward faster. That would definitely be one of the things that I would share with myself.
Oh my gosh, that was so fast. So go with your gut, make a decision, just go forward.
Yeah,
I love
move,
it.
make the decision faster.
Love it. I love it. And if you don't know the answer, if you get stuck, and again, I steal this from my good friend Leah Woodford from Smart Femme, which I do need to introduce you to because I think you'd be great speaker for her Smart Femme group. She's the one that gave me get your asking gear, right? So
Love it.
she's like just ask, ask, ask.
Yeah.
I love it. So Tammy, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date, your expiration date, life date, and death date. Hopefully, it's way down the line. But how do you want Tammy's dash remembered?
I always say you've got to live inspired, right? So the inspired life and the inspiration that, you know, bringing to others, bringing to yourself, getting inspired by what you do, those are the pieces that I want to be remembered for.
Love it. I love it. You're so planting trees that you're never going to sit in the shade of. That's fantastic, man. So, what do you think people maybe misunderstand the most about Tammy?
Mm. Oh, well, where do we go with that one? So, so many things. I think, because I do so much speaking and I love being in front of an audience and sharing my message that people think that I'm very
Extroverted.
extroverted and out there. And I think that's probably one of the most misunderstood things
Yeah.
when people meet me in that world
Mm-hmm.
that they kind of expect me to just be that way all the time.
Right.
And I call myself the omnivert, it's the mix between the extrovert and the introvert. And I definitely need my moments of quiet time and space and reflection.
Sure.
But that's probably the one thing where people might get misinterpreted because I love being in leadership roles.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading something about this interpretation of my name recently, and it said, "Throw me into a pack of wolves, and I'll come off the leader." And I was at an event speaking last month in New York, and things weren't going well, and I just jumped in, and I'm like taking over and like doing
Mm-hmm.
everything that the organizers didn't do. And someone came up to me and she's like, "This is your genius zone, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, just throw me into a
Love
pack
it.
of wolves and I'll come out the leader." Like, that's just how I am. Like,
Right.
if there's something going wrong, I'm going to figure out how to fix it. I'm going
Wow.
to make things more efficient. But it doesn't mean that I'm like that constantly.
Right. No, I love that you said that and you're being transparent about it because I am exactly the same way. They'll be like, Fergie, oh my gosh, dude, yeah. And like it's funny, like I'll work a stage, I'll do the stage and then I'll do uh the afterwards and meeting people and whatnot. But I usually jet right back to my room. Like I'm
Yeah.
not the guy that hangs out too much. I eat by myself a lot here in South Florida because it's so beautiful and the 9 to 5ers are working and I can blessed to be able to go and sit in the ocean and eat. Like I have
Hmm.
absolutely no problem going to like a kava bar or just a nice Java place and relaxing. I love that we have that in common. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what if anything keeps Tami up at night?
Keeps me up at night is worrying that something's not going to go right. Something's that there's something more I need to do.
Mm.
Um, and mainly it's always around like critical deadlines or things like that that
That's
are
that
coming up.
27 years of corporate creeping up
Yes,
on
it
you a
is,
lot.
right?
Love it. Yeah.
And so, most other things don't keep me up at night. Like, I have an amazing family, love my family. And, they're the ones that I could tuck my girls in and that makes me sleep well.
Were you and Glenn together when you made that switch from corporate into the what was the support
Yes.
system like there?
Oh, Glenn is an amazing support. I mean,
Cool.
he is my number one supporter. So,
Yeah.
for so many years, actually, we share an office. So he
Oh,
is on the
nice.
other side of this wall here.
That's cool.
And so it was fun because, he's been the entrepreneur. He's a
Mhm.
chiropractor. He owns his own business.
Oh, wow.
And so for many years, it was as he was getting his business started, we met even before he even opened his office. And so there was times where I was kind of the supporter for him and
Right.
as he was growing his business. And so it was a fun flip in some ways
Yeah.
where he was able to be the supportive one and be the one giving me the encouragement, but we also have an interesting relationship because he is one of my clients and I
Okay.
do coach and consult him and his
Mhm.
business. And so we can run the gamut. We work at home, we come into our office, we're both, here together, but he's seeing his patients and I'm in at my office doing my things.
I'd love to be a fly on the wall, one of those coaching sessions, see how that goes. Yeah, I love my Susan, but I don't know if I could coach her so much. Although I find myself doing that at dinner, asking questions and like
Yeah,
getting something like, babe, I'm sorry, this is not a right conversation for at dinner.
right.
So let's take out of this next question anything electronic, um, like nothing that you need every day, but what are 3 other things that you cannot live without?
Three things I can't live without. Um, I would say, one, I mean, I don't ever want to live without my family. Like
Yes.
that's
Thank you for
that's
saying
one.
that.
But
That's probably a good start,
yeah,
right?
um, you know, I think that there's the peace of mind that part of my morning routine brings me. So some of
Nice.
the things that I do is I created the showers of blessing meditation that I lay in bed and do just about every morning before
Yay.
I even get
Awesome.
out of bed and think about the blessings in my life, think about what I
Yeah.
want to create, what I am grateful for, but
Set those
also
intentions.
what's going to
Yeah.
happen that
Yeah.
day that I want to
Yeah.
be thankful for, that
Yeah.
I'm excited about. And so I set myself up each day with that.
Love it.
And other thing I can't live without. I don't know. I'm like, I am a tea drinker, and I will say that my
Tease
tea
works.
is
That works. Awesome.
something
Awesome.
that I probably, if anyone who knows me knows I don't live without my tea.
I love that you have that morning too. I have it. My clients are required to do. It's called a gratitude sandwich, where I like it's a 3 layer where the top, which would be the bread, I have set your intentions for the day. right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in the middle is, what are you worried about? Like, what's going on? Is it your bank account? Is it your spouse? Whatnot? But then you have to list 14 things, and without any description of just 14 things underneath that you're grateful for, right?
Yeah.
And then the last thing is to write a 1-sentence love letter to yourself that day. And what
Love
it
it.
is that's that 3-layer sandwich that squeezes out the middle of the worry. So I love
Yeah.
that we're kind of aligned on that. That's beautiful. So Tami, then what is, which I think I might know, but what is your definition of a life well lived?
My definition of a life well lived is living a life with intention, with desire, and being inspired by everything you do.
Wow.
So, making it extremely intentional and understanding what it is you want to create,
Yeah.
how you want that life to look, that vision you want, and then taking the actions to make that happen.
Wow, that's awesome. And it's funny, the last part is the most important. Well, to make it happen
Yeah.
is taking actions. This little 6-year-old kid, 7-year-old kid got me with a riddle the other day. It says there's 5 frogs on a log. 4 of them decide to jump off. How many are on the log? And I'm like, 1. He's like, no, dummy. This is what he said. No, dummy, there's 5. They decided to. They didn't actually do it.
Yes.
Right? So I love that you say that taking action. A little 7-year-old, he called me dummy. That's his problem. And
I learned so much from my kids. I use them in my talks. Like,
I love it. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We are back, and I got Tami Jaffe from Tami Jaffe Coaching. And Tami, you and I will meet up one day. I wish it was like today because I'm going to be in Charlotte, but another time we'll meet up live, maybe get you down here in Florida and on a stage, and we'll rock a stage when we can discuss these things 15, 20 minutes. But you got 5 seconds with no explanations, and they can all be answered that way. No problems. You ready to level up?
I'm ready.
Let's do it. Tami, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Stop thinking and start doing.
Yes. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
My showers of blessings meditation.
Beautiful. So you see me walking down the street and you're like, man, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums a little bit. What book might you hand me?
The one that I use right now with my people making that leap is The Big Leap.
Yeah, love it. Great read. What is your most commonly used emoji when you text?
Ooh, depends on who I'm texting, but it's always a smile or, the heart eyes.
Got it. Love it. Nicknames growing up?
My last name was Hammer, so it was Hammer time.
I love it. I love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Chess, checkers, or Monopoly. I love them all. We love games, but checkers.
Love it. Go-to ice cream flavor?
Vanilla.
Me too. It's so easy. And if you don't feel like just having vanilla, you top it. I love it.
Yes.
Cookie
dough on top's good too.
Yeah. There's a sandwich called the Hammer Jaffe. What is on that sandwich? Build it for me.
Ooh, build it. So for me, the Hammer Jack would probably be, I'm vegetarian. So we're going to go with some avocado, some yummy cheese, and what else do we want on the sandwich?
Throw a little hummus on there.
Well, hummus. Yeah. We got to have some sauce on there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Love it. Love it. So any favorite charity and organizations you like to give your time or money to?
Oh, I love supporting kids. And so, the Big Brothers, Big Sisters is an organization that I appreciate and love to support.
Love it. And the last question, you can elaborate a little bit on this one, but what is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh, let's go with 90s.
90s, really? Okay. I'm 50 years old, so like 80s. I graduated in 90, so it's like 80s was like my jam. I dig that. But if I'm working, I put on the 70s. It's just like because it takes me back to my mom and dad and just kind of chilling out. But I love it. I love it. So Tami, how can we find you, my friend?
You can find me at tamijaffe.com.
And that's
my website.
TAMIJAFFE.com, squad.
Right.
And it'll be in the show notes.
Yeah.
Awesome. And can you tell us a little bit about your corporate to cash jumpstart kit?
Sure. Yeah. My corporate to cash jumpstart kit is for those that are wanting to make that leap to get out of corporate, start their business, and start it the right way, or for those who have already jumped out and started their business and they're just not making that consistent income.
Mm.
It gives you a jumpstart on how to get your clients, how to understand where you need to be focused, what strategies you need to be doing in your business initially, so that you can go from employee to entrepreneur, make that leap, avoid some of the headaches and mistakes that other people make, and do it the right way.
I love it. And is that available on TamiJaffe.com?
It is, or you can go to thejumpstartkit.com.
Donnie, put that in the show notes, please. Okay, awesome. Fantastic. And Tami, please do me one last solid and leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on.
Share a quick story because we were talking about our
Yes,
kids
please.
and the lessons we learned. So I was tugging my daughter in the other night, and she always asked for a back massage and a foot massage. And as she was asking me, or I was doing her back massage, I said, I think you're a pretty lucky girl because I don't think every little girl is getting a back massage and a foot rub every night. And she looked up at me and she says, Mommy, that's because they don't ask. So, my suggestion for all of you is do not be afraid to ask. First, get clear on what it is you need, go out and ask for it and make it happen.
Yeah, it's so, and that's awesome that you're instilling in your children that it's okay to ask. Because
Yes.
we're born salesmen, right? I mean, salesmen and saleswomen, like when you're going through a line at the checkout stand, I had no problem asking my pops for payday candy bar or Snickers or something. Like, we were always asking. But the thing is, in Shed Helmstetter, who wrote the book, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, something I read like every year, he says that 130, a child by the time they're 13 is told no 135,000 times.
Mhm.
Just imagine that just deprograms the
Yeah.
salesman in you. And thank you for saying that. To don't be afraid to ask, get clear, and take action. And squad, that's what my good friend Tami does. And I have notes upon notes here where she's a recovering CPA of 27 years in the corporate world. And the further she rose in the ranks, the less she liked the politics. She wanted more integrity. She got awesome support from her husband Glenn, who I still can't believe she coaches, but that's just freaking awesome. She took the mentor manager to the next level and kind of stepped out and started helping others. With finding that blind spot, she starts by asking very powerful questions to get that clarity. She listens with her entire body, not just her ears, but even during this podcast, while I was asking her questions, she's listening with her neck. She's really leaning in. She's present with me. She's going to be present with her clients. She builds her relationships in organizations and connecting and really not intimately, but business intimately with the leaders so they can get that vision. And actually, when she needs help, she can get it from them. She wants you to go with your gut, make a decision, strategically align that, and move forward. She is someone that will be remembered as that wolf that leads the pack. She lived inspired and shared that fire that she has inside her with others. And again, she says, live a life of intention, desire, and being inspired. And most importantly, take action. Nothing can be done without taking action. That's what my good friend Tami does. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. She is humble yet hungry. She's earned a varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. Thank you so much for coming on, Tami. I absolutely love your guts, and I can't wait to collaborate with you in the future.
Thank you, Scott. It's been amazing being here with you.
Yay! Chat soon.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.